Retro Rides Gathering 2024. One of our winners is Matt and his Sherpa 4-wheel drive. Matt, is it a 4x4? Did it have another name?
Yeah, so it's a freight Rover Sherpa. Four-wheel
drive.
Yeah.
There was no fancy like the Ford Transit was the County.
No,
nothing like that.
No. They were all 2-wheel drives when they left the factory.
Yep.
And you could go into Freight Rover and you could ask for the 4-wheel drive version. And then what they would do is they'd take the 2-wheel drive off the line, send it to a specialist called NAM Special Vehicles.
Yep.
And then they'd convert them to 4-wheel drive.
So it's 83, 84?
It's an 83, yeah.
83. So we're going back 41 years.
Yeah.
There were 4-wheel drive vehicles. It's not like it was the dark ages. We had transit counties and stuff like that, but it was still a very specialised proposition.
They did do a Bedford CF, but I've never actually seen one in person.
Rarity aside, which is clearly rare, it's quite a narrow thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so pretty sure they only made them for 3 years.
Right.
And the whole project was axed because it was conflicting with Land Rover.
Yeah, diluting the product.
Yeah, so Freight Rover was meant to be like the commercial side of Rover. And when the new MD took over, he was like, why are we building these? Don't, and axed it.
I mean, to be fair, given Rover's history, some interesting management decisions went on, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Let's not get too deep into that.
Yes, I mean, they're not the most refined things in the world.
No. But I mean, what attracted you, and where was it the fact that you just saw it and went, I've never seen one of these? Is there a history of Freight Rover stuff with you?
So I've always been into Land Rovers.
Yep.
I was brought up with Land Rovers. My uncle used to race them. So I've always
you don't usually hear in relation to a Land Rover.
Yeah, and I've always been into jacked up vehicles and stuff.
Yep.
And this was actually sat round the corner of a friend of mine's house, and I was chatting to him and I went, that van, if it ever comes for sale, I want to buy it. I just fell in love with it.
Yep.
He said, oh, they'll never sell it. You might as well forget about it. They're not going to sell it. About 2 years later, he rang me out of the blue. Oh, they're selling that van if you want it. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, right, I'm on my way.
So you didn't even ask how much it was or anything like that?
No, I went round, I asked them how much they wanted for it, knocked them down a little bit, and
And how long ago was this?
2001 I bought her.
2001?
No, sorry, 2021, sorry.
I was going to say, how gorgeous though if it had been 21 years, So 21, we were sort of just coming out the back end of the C word, stuff like that.
That's it,
and they had it a long time, or what was it when you got it?
They hadn't had it that long, because I did find an advert on Car and Classics with the van.
This vehicle?
Yeah, right. Unfortunately it had been deleted, so it was only like a picture. You could only find the link on Google. But I don't think they'd had it very long. They'd brought it, they'd got it running, but there was a problem. It used to be an automatic.
Yeah.
So there was a problem with the auto box. They kind of gave up with it, and it just sat there for ages. And eventually they just gave up with it and was like, we need to move it.
A mate of mine had one of these, going back 20 years ago. Toured around Europe in it, bought it out of a power station. I never quite liked it because his was flat green and it kind of, he called it Pluto because it came from a nuclear power station and stuff. But looking at this now, it's almost got Eastern European. I quite like that chiseled front end.
Yes, I know what you mean.
How did it look when you first got your
it
hands
was in
on
a very poor state when I bought her. Somebody had obviously tried to repair it at some point. Instead of cutting the rust out, they'd welded straight over the top of it.
One of those.
Yeah, so...
Why would you do that?
I mean, they'd made these beautiful...
It's almost more effort.
Well, they'd made these beautiful panels and then just slapped them straight over the top of the rust. So then I had to come along and cut it all out again and restart.
Yep.
She was, like I say, she was in a very poor state. She didn't run, didn't drive or anything. My friend, who actually lived around the corner, he delivered it for me on his trailer. We pushed it straight in the workshop, and that afternoon, me and my dad had ripped the engine and gearbox straight out of it.
Nice.
Just
started
straight away.
Because you knew you were going to have to get deep, so just
that's it.
On.
And
so was it a 3-figure asking price or a 4-figure asking price? Without asking exact figures, because I have no idea. 4. Okay.
Yeah, 4 figure, very low 4 figures.
Okay. Gives you an idea of where to start with though, if you're wondering, because people will go, oh, is this a 20 grand vehicle? Like, seriously, I always forget that lots of people might be looking at this for the first time ever. They might not have watched a video on a car, so
that's
it's good to know.
So, she's pretty much fully restored.
Yep. So you did bodywork, engine, did you manual swap it then? Or?
Manual swapped it. Yep. She was a 2 litre petrol.
Yep.
I've converted her to a 1.9 XUD turbo.
That's the Peugeot motor?
Out of a 306.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's running that at the moment. Still,
is that like a 100 brake or?
I'm still setting her up. I've had a new pump rebuilt and put onto her.
Yep.
So I'm still dialing the pump in and stuff.
Right, I'm going to quickly interrupt this chat for a bit of prize giving, because at the top of the video I said Matt was a winner. Matt, you are the inaugural winner of the four-wheel drive sort of lifted category here at Retro Rides. First time. The show's been going since 2007. Mark, who's representing WPL models today, here he is, walking in. Now everyone else got a trophy. You get a trophy and a remote control car.
Well, I do like RC cars.
Is that a Samurai or a Jimny?
It's a Jimny.
Jimny. There you go, 1/10 scale.
Thank you very much.
Have you got to put it together?
No, it all comes ready to run direct from WPL as it appears on the box there.
What? Well, I'm very envious.
Yes, thank you very much.
Give him the trophy then.
And there's a trophy that has been made personally for you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice. Congratulations. And
thank you.
Like the Olympics, you know, people are winning the gold medals for the first time.
Yeah.
You've just won the first ever lifted.
Very nice.
What we actually called it?
Best
off-road. It is the best off-road. I was
Yes.
just consciously on. David's in the background, one of the organisers, and I was just, don't point the camera at him, he'll burst into flame. Let's get to that point. But yeah, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And I think this is part of the celebration, is that there is so many stories behind these vehicles, so much work, so much effort, and then the fact you actually make the effort to come here and share it with everyone.
Yeah.
So fairly recently finished, or?
So I got her up and running last year.
Yep.
Bought it last year.
You bought it last year?
I brought it here last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was. I'd been slowly restoring it with my dad.
Yep.
And then we suddenly realised that we'd got about a month left to get it on the road. Bearing in mind it still didn't have an engine and gearbox in it. So
details.
Yeah, so I'd leave work, I would go straight down the unit, my dad would meet me down there, and we'd work 7 days a week on it in the evenings.
Jeez.
And we'd be working Saturday and Sunday as well to get her back on the road. She's nowhere near finished. I mean, she hasn't got a passenger seat at the moment. She still needs a bit of refining.
Dude, nothing's ever finished.
You know that. That's it. But she made it, and she's made it twice now, so.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's all good.
I'm making assumptions, but presumably you're going to keep it.
Yes.
Or are you one of these guys who likes to flip and build and
No,
build and build?
no. This is
staying put.
This is staying put.
How wonderful. So you waited 2 years to even get near the project, and now it's here twice.
That's it, yeah. And I have had another one as well since, but I sold that one on.
So somebody, I can't remember who it was, said earlier on that if you have two of something, it means the first one doesn't break.
Right, okay.
So it's a good tip. It's a legitimate methodology that buy two and one will break, and one won't break, so you'll be okay.
Well,
so that's the Retro Rides kind of like customer service there. If anyone ever says anything, say, look, it's actually science. It's Retro Rides science. Well, look, Matt, do you have Retro Rides thread at all, or
I don't.
Any social media?
Not
Are you
really.
a dark wolf?
I just sit on Facebook. I did set up a little bit of a group. It hasn't really got any members because they're so rare. But I set up a group on Facebook.
Fair play,
if I can remember right, it's Freight Rover 4-wheel drive Sherpa group.
There you go. So if you Google that, Facebook, if you've got one of these and you need to find out more, and you can find him, maybe you can speak to Matt.
Yeah.
Brilliant, man. It's been really good talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the enthusiasm, the effort. Hopefully the prize goes a little bit away to say thank you from us to you.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
Matt.
Cheers.